Chapter 3. The cool wind scratches harshly at Jeremy's face as he starts on his journey towards school. Cheeks glowing a bright, painful red, he trudges forward. Winter has been over for months now, but the chill has remained long into the spring months. There have been no sunny days since autumn left them several months ago. Jeremy reaches into his pocket and turns his audio device up to the highest level he can bear, while simultaneously plugging his headphones into each of his ears. His hood is then raised up over the top of his head, covering down to his eyes, while his hands find their home inside the pockets of his hooded, zip-up sweatshirt. Hiding from the world in his own ball of self-loathing and sadness as he continues on his path. Everything is gray. The houses, the signs, the cars. It could be the weather or the mood he is in, but the world just seems so dull and decaying all around him now. He notices the classic red sports car of one of his neighbors as it passes by him. However, even the flashy car barely grabs Jeremy's attention for a second before drifting off and mixing into the bland world all around them. Inside he knows that a rainbow appearing before him out of nowhere would be as dull as the rusted old rims of the old junker car he is passing at the moment. How can she side with that worthless, lying piece of garbage? Is all he hears in his head over the booming bass emitting from the headphones and directly into his inner ear. He told him something was wrong. He asked for more help. Why wouldn't he listen? Dad told me there was something else wrong. How could he just... He jumps back, pulls his hand from his pocket, and turns around, throwing his fist in the air, ready to strike after feeling a tight grasp from behind at the sleeve of his left shoulder. His eyes fade from their state of panic, down to their normal size, with his pupils becoming less dilated. Now he stands seeing the face of Erin, an old childhood friend, and the poor girl who has made the mistake to have fallen so deeply in love with the boy who can never show her all the affection she so craves. She is quite the beautiful girl, with her long brown hair and deep blue eyes, which are set off by the light freckles sprinkled across her face. Most of the guys at school want her, but she only has eyes for Jeremy. She looks adorable in her pink hooded sweatshirt with a black kitten on the front, smiling and winking at all who pass her. To match this sweatshirt, she wears a black and pink plaid skirt that stops just above her knees. Two straps fall from each side of her waist and cross in the middle, one black and the other pink. Her radiance even flows now with a look of total shock in her eyes. Startled by his reaction, she loses her breath for a few seconds, not moving a single inch. Erin is finally able to breathe as Jeremy relaxes and his fist becomes unclenched. Without looking away from her, he removes his headphones. He takes both earpieces and the main cord and hangs them around his neck. "Hi," he says. He then turns back around and continues on his way down the street and toward their high school. Erin follows behind and doubles her steps in order to catch up and walk next to him. Once she reaches his side, she leans in with both arms and grabs his left arm firmly, bringing it in close and hugs it to her chest. "Come on, give me a hug," she begins. "I haven't seen you in weeks," she continues as she slowly removes his hood and brushes away his long hair, revealing blue eyes even more incredible than her own. She can tell by the look on his face that he is still in so much pain, and his lips aren't going to move to speak to her. "I see you're still not ready to talk, Jerem, but I want you to know I'm always here for you." She smiles the most comforting smile she can muster as she puts her arms around him. Jeremy is taken over by her for a second and stops walking for a moment. He slowly and gently lowers his head down into her shoulder. Erin turns her head and gently presses her lips to his cheek. He remains for a moment longer, then slowly raises from her embrace. He then backs away, raises his hood, and continues walking in silence. He's given her all the affection he can produce at the time, and he'll have to do for her. Aaron quickly wipes the tears from her face and follows in tow, looking over at his partially hidden face from time to time, trying to find the words of comfort that just seem to elude her. As they pass a park just down the street from the school, Aaron stops and tugs at Jeremy's sweatshirt to stop him as well. They both turn to the right, and there stands the old park at which they played as children. The park where they first met, and the park where they first fell in love. Aaron could stand there and dream forever, but Jeremy starts to pull away. Seeing themselves as children laughing and playing brings a smile to Aaron's face, but a frown to Jeremy's. Aaron reluctantly pulls her attention from the park and follows Jeremy onward toward the school. As they come within 3 blocks from the school's property, Aaron just can't seem to take the silence anymore and needs to hear Jeremy say something. Anything at all will bring her an acceptable amount of comfort. Finally, she opens her mouth again to try to get him to speak, but annoyingly, she chooses her words very poorly. So, how's your mother doing? She asks, only to get the most hateful stare she had ever received from him. Taken aback, she falls a step or two behind him as her heart breaks a little more inside. She stays behind and trails him the rest of the way. They continue all the way to school this way. Not a single word was uttered between them until they separate in the main corridor just inside the first set of front doors. They begin their way through the groups of students between the internal and external doors, as Jeremy, without even a gesture toward Aaron, makes a left just inside the internal set of doors. Aaron watches him, with a frown on her face and not a word in her head to speak. She just stands there, cold and alone, as he disappears into a crowd of their peers, disappearing around the corner of the walls painted in white and red. Slowly she turns away, and with her head sunken low, she too makes her way to the hall containing her homeroom class. Thank you for listening. If you're enjoying the story and how it's going, please subscribe so you can get every chapter as it comes through. Discuss in the comments, plot threads, and where you think the story's going. Share with anybody you think might find it interesting. Until then, I'll see you next video.